Jai Mother. Charanam Sharanam Ramambige. Charanam Sharanam Trayambage. A moment's flash of lightning drags down a deeper gloom on my sight, and my heart gropes for the path to where the music of the night calls me. Gitanjali. Even after reaching home, the feeling of elation possessed me, though I felt too tired on account of the morning's exciting and unexpected events. I spoke to my sister happily of my meeting with Mother. Then I had my bath and usual prayer. I remember feeling a new delight in saying it, each word seeming to shed a blessing over me. Soon after my meals, I went to my room to rest. The morning's events were still fresh and vivid in my mind, when again I felt the sweet elusive fragrance I had experienced in Mother's presence, and when she came near me. I remained still for some time, wondering where the sweet uplifting fragrance came from. I thought it might be from my clothes, but I had bathed and changed my clothes. It was not from there. Still the fragrance hovered over me. From where then? I gave up the attempt to trace the source. Now I know that Mother's unseen presence was hovering over me in benediction. All that time I was having a struggle whether to go or not to go for the bhajan. One part of mine wanted to go very much, while the other part, the nervous, deluded part of mine, was shying back. Further, in my poor condition of physical health, the exertion of the morning had tired me and began to have a severe headache. In the end, I decided not to attend. I felt guilty towards Mother, but the headache helped me to appease my conscience a little. What can one say of a foolish person so deluded, with no eyes to see the divine hand stretched out to help her? All night I could not sleep, thinking how wonderful Mother had been to me and how poorly I had repaid her. The wailing potency of Maya had clouded me again. Repentance came. I was angry with myself. Now I know that it was touch and go. Caught in the fantasies of my lower mind, it is possible I might never have gone to see Mother again. But that unseen benign power, which was the Almighty Divine Mother alone, which had guided and protected me all along, and finally led me to her, again came to my rescue. From the Himalayan peaks of her divinity, Mother alone can descend into the level of humanity and in one mighty sweep rescue the jiva from the abysmal depths of delusion and ignorance. I well realize it now, though even at that time I had felt it vaguely, that it was some higher power that had given me the strength to leave my husband and children at Trivandrum and led me step by step to Madras and to Mother. When I was at Trivandrum, even the thought of going to another room unaccompanied by my husband was enough to send me into a fit of trembling nervousness. I never have even dreamt that I could leave him for a moment. The idea of going in a car even for a furlong was unthinkable. Unnatural, horrible fears seized me to think of such things. I had never traveled by plane before, and even under normal conditions, I never relished the idea. Things were in such a muddled and confused state when my sister came to take me to Madras. When she told me casually that we were traveling by plane, my state of mind could well be imagined. The decision was taken out of my hands. All were firm and began to arrange everything for my journey. I moved about as in a dream and tried to think that all those arrangements were being made for someone else. For how could I ever leave my husband and travel in a plane? The night before leaving Trivandrum, I realized that I would have to go. Something were compelling me. But wave after wave of nervousness swept through me, and I spent a miserable night. Fears tortured me, dragging me this way and that. At that time, my father-in-law was seriously ill and needed the presence and loving care of my husband. Already the strain of attending on both of us had begun to tell on him. My great love and respect for my father-in-law prevailed upon me to leave my husband unfettered, to devote his full time to him. Every second was bringing the dreaded moment nearer. The beddings were packed. People were coming to take leave of me. My mind was seething. I even began to wonder whether I would be in the plane or at home when the plane left. My husband somehow persuaded me to have my bath and prayers. My niece and daughter helped me to change. It was time to start. As in a dream, I found myself taking leave of my sisters-in-law and all at home. They appeared to be cheerful, but at heart they were all worried. Somehow I found myself in the car on the way to the aerodrome. All the time I was hopeful that something might happen to prevent my going. At the aerodrome, the siren announced the arrival of the plane. I got desperate and made an effort to persuade my husband to come too. He looked miserable, as he understood my condition only too well. My eldest son was asked to accompany me as well. All others asked me to have courage. It was time to start. I found myself mechanically walking to the plane with my sister and son. I never looked back. I had taken the plunge for what I did not know. Soon I was seated comfortably with my sister at my side. The plane started and we were in the air. A little courage came to me from somewhere. In 45 minutes we were to land at Cochin. In no time we were there. I felt a sudden and intense depression at the thought that in such a short time we had covered all that distance and my husband and the others were so far away. I do not know how I managed to fight it back. All through the journey and after, my sister's affectionate care and courage helped me a lot. But all the time, even in that most confused state, I felt that some all-merciful power was watching over me. We had our lunch at a friend's place and caught the next train to Trichy. Train journey was another hurdle for me. But my sister managed to get a compartment to ourselves and we reached Trichy comfortably. My little son was at the station. I had not seen him for some time as he was with my mother and sister. A ray of gladness came to my heart on seeing him. We came home to my mother. The sight of my mother and elder sister after a long time gave me great happiness. I felt a little warmth in my childhood's home, surrounded with the loving care of my mother and sisters. My mother wanted me to stay on for some more days with her. In times of such distress, who would want to go? But I was restless and my one thought was to reach Madras. So we again packed our things and got ready to start. My mother and others at home were so worried about me. I felt very sorry to leave my mother, who was looking so anxious and dejected. but my only aim and thought was to reach Madras, for what I did not know. Again, when it was time to start, I became nervous about the long train journey. So my elder brother-in-law also came with us. The compartment was very crowded. It was a new experience, as if I had not travelled before. I began to feel better and eager to reach my destination. It was thus troubled and giving innumerable troubles to others that I reached Madras in February 1949. As I have said before, all along I had a strange feeling that an unknown force was helping me in spite of myself. That self same force made me go to Mother again the next morning to plead forgiveness, not for not obeying her words, for not attending the bhajan. As usual, I could not go alone, so my sister accompanied me. We had to wait for a few minutes to see Mother. I explained humbly to Mother the reason for my absence the previous evening. Mother, with an understanding smile, heard all my excuses. It seems Mother had told the people there that my intense nervousness would prevent my attending the bhajan. There was to be bhajan that evening. The number of people attending it was limited. Mother was bent upon getting me to attend that bhajan. Two ladies had come for initiation, so Mother had to leave us and we returned home. Charanam Sharanam Ramambige, Charanam Sharanam Trayambage. Jai Mother,